What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to another Casually Chelsea show. I'm accompanied here by Redneck Blue Alex and Winter Surfer here. And today we're going to be talking about a few things. We'll start off with the World Cup match that we saw earlier today. And a few things have been happening in Chelsea throughout the week. Make sure you're smashing that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on anything we talk about today. And if you would like to donate via Super Chat, Super Thanks, that option is available for you. Check out the links in the description as well. But yeah, let's get right into it. World Cup today. Yeah, today started the World Cup, and we got to see Qatar pretty much dominated by Ecuador. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised. I just didn't think Qatar would be that bad. But yeah, it was like watching Ecuador just have a training match for 85 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes Qatar decided, hey, let's actually try. But yeah, I mean, it was a great way to start. Not a great way to start the World Cup, but it was nice to have the World Cup on finally. I wish there was more games on today, but it is what it is. I know, Alex, you didn't watch the World Cup, which is fine. You didn't miss much today. Andrew, what'd you think of the game, man?
Well, I think I've got Qatar are not going to go out of this. They're going to go out of the group stage. I've got a feeling they're not even going to score a goal.
They only got one shot today. I don't think they even got a shot today, actually, on goal.
No,
I'll look it up.
I've heard the news on Twitter. Apparently, the goalkeeper never had this is his first professional game.
I don't know if that's a joke, but it looked like it. It looked like
it did look like it was his first professional game for sure.
It was a very low level game.
Yeah,
Ecuador. I was on a stream. Obviously, shout out to P. Knows watching more international than I do. Notice that they've got like the best, one of the best defenses in the South American teams. So
Ecuador.
I think anyone thinking, Qatar are going to do something is just living in a fantasy land. They are not. They're only going to be remembered for hosting the tournament. That's it. It was just one of them. It was very easy. I mean, what's his name? Valencia scored a couple. Maybe could have got a hat trick. Maybe that was offside. Maybe it wasn't. Who cares? Mm-hmm. It was very comfortable in the end. So
the header by Valencia, that second header was nice. It was a very nice header.
Very good header. Very good header it was.
I mean, technically, the ear counts as a header. So
yeah, it was on the side. Like one of those, like full on, like the headers.
The one chance that Qatar had to, get a shot on goal. That guy. He was not ready to hit the ball. It just hit him in the face and went wide.
It was literally shot at his head. Instead of like going on to the thing. It was like he wasn't prepared. He wasn't ready for it. But it's out of the way now.
I think that was his first touch of the game. Even
the real games begin now. Tomorrow, sorry. So it's it's one of those.
Big up Ali, big up Jose in the chat, big up Dark, Hassan, everyone here, Victor. Most of you guys who were here last night, great stream. Appreciate all you guys supporting that stream, that video. Did really well for us. And if you want to see that man's reaction, you can go over to his channel if you want to check that out. It was funny. But anyways, let's talk about Chelsea. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Why don't we? I don't have a banner ready for this, so it's okay. We'll just wing it. So first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, to kind of segue into what we were talking about yesterday, is let's actually talk about this news. I don't think we actually talked much about the actual topic itself, only everything surrounding the topic. But yeah, let's talk about Mason Mount. So pretty much, The Athletic came out with an article not too long ago. 7-year deal rejected, salary issues for Mason Mount. But Chelsea are going to make Mason Mount the priority to get done. And then here's Simon Johnson saying, update on Mason Mount's contract talks at CFC. Positive talks were held recently, and there is now great optimism a deal will be agreed when the next round of negotiations, scheduled for January, resume. And you can get the full story at The Athletic. But yeah, I mean, what do I think about this whole situation in general? I just think it's I don't really care. I've kind of lost a lot of patience with Mason Mount, as I have lost the same amount of patience as well with Havertz. If they decide to pick it up later in the season and do well, maybe that'll change. But I think for me right now, if Mason were to leave because we can't negotiate 300K, which I don't think he deserves. I don't think if you account for the last 3 seasons he's played at Chelsea as a big boy, I don't think he's deserving of a 300 a week salary. So if he leaves because of that, then sure, I could care less. But if we can't negotiate a deal because we don't want to pay him something around like what Reece James gets paid, maybe less than that, I think it's a little ridiculous. I think there is a good player there, but I guess it's a matter of time as to when we see it. Maybe another manager, maybe a better formation, maybe when the manager is more used to the formation that he wants to play. Maybe if we don't change, there's all types of factors. We already know this, but Alex, enough of me rambling. What's your thoughts on the whole Mason Mount thing? What do you think about this?
I don't think, because I always knew he's gonna sign, no matter what it is, he's gonna sign the contract. So I don't think the salary was gonna be the problem. I don't think any of us understand how salary based can be worked, because we think based on what we think, they think based on what they think. And if you like, we like to compare, we like to compare, for example. So if Reece James gets that much money, so how much deserve this? It doesn't work that way, is it?
Nope.
What's his name? Mount does what Mount does. There's some things that Mount has over James is the availability. James consider James as injury prone. He always misses a lot of periods of the problem, and when he misses, we all miss it. Like the whole team is substantial. So I don't know. I really don't care about the Mount. I wish I cared about Mount as some people, but I don't. Like, I don't think he's the one of the guys on the team that needs to gets his contract done. For me, it's the more Chelsea fan problem than Mount problem. Because, like it or not, something is there, because 3 managers do pick him over somebody. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you can't deny that there is a good player in it. My question is that my problem is with it's actually Chelsea fans, because Chelsea fans put him on the pedestal of generational whatever poop hits him in the head that morning. But he's not generational. They make him generational. So if you making him generational, you're gonna be looked at as generational, and it's second by second. The problem with that is, like, if the kid can make a mistake, he's gonna be called on for making the mistakes. So that's how real football works. And with Mount, I just want Chelsea to buy a players, so Mount won't be the face of the Chelsea.
Yeah,
that's when I think it's the real Mount will show. Not the face of Chelsea Football Club, because he's 23 years old. You can't make that freaking kid face of Chelsea at that young of an age.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Go ahead.
You have a real proper stars in the team, and he will show you what he can do. That's the thing.
Yeah. We were just yesterday, I was showing off some of the comparisons of the stats for this team versus the stats for the team that after they won the Champions League in 2011. And you see the standard there is totally different. Like we obviously our player quality overall, the team quality was a lot better, but it just goes to show that there was a level for Chelsea that we need to hit, right? That Chelsea needs to be good. And I think what happened in recent years is that level has dropped gradually. People like to say that it was most notable under Kante and after Kante. And so once that level dropped, we see who the best player was in the team, and we just want to hype them up and say they're generational and this and that. When like you look at Mount's stats, versus Juan Mata's stats, for example, who Juan Mata, we don't even consider like a Chelsea legend. He's just like, you know, a stand-in for Chelsea. He's played for a while, then he went off to do the rest of his career and die off at the shelf over at Man United. But it's so night and day. Like Mata almost doubles this man's stats, and he's not like the generational star boy that, you know, we expect like a Drogba or a Lampard or even like Eden Hazard to be, or what we are trying to say that Mount is. So it's just like a totally different standard, and I get maybe where the delusion comes from.
Marshall, I think it's because there's not that many at Chelsea right now, so you have it's individual thing. When Mata was there, you couldn't put everything on Mata because there's Hazard, there's Oscar, there's Ramirez, there's a lot of big players in the big players in that team. That's why he did it. Now, what's his name? There's nobody in this team.
Yep.
There's nobody in this team. So of course we're gonna put like, oh, is minerals or he's just a regular vitamin Mount? Is he the
minerals, bruv?
You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
yes. Let's have it right. I get it though. He's right.
I think the argument is not whether Mount signs, because I agree with Alex, and I know you do. Marshall, he's going to sign. Okay. Yeah. When he signs, the people that think whatever they think of Mount, like this player, what are their expectations of him then? To what to do over the next, let's say 6 years. Let's say 6 years. What does he has to do then to make him worth the years he gets and the money he gets? Because to me, if he signs for 6 years, I'm gonna be expecting a lot because of what other people make of him. Let me rephrase that. I'm not going to expect a lot because I know what he is. I know what he can get to and what he can't get to. Okay, but what are the excuses going to be in 3 or 4 years' time when I think inevitably he's going to round out being a James Milner type player? Not James Milner right now, people. Not James Milner right now, but from like 2010 onwards when he played for City, and he was that type of player who did a good job. Who did a good job and was useful to the squad, right? What if he doesn't meet those levels that you've set for him? Then what? Do you give him another 6-year contract? Because it'll take him up to 29, right? 29, 30? It'll basically take him to the prime. It will take him to the prime of his career. This contract is the biggest contract he's ever going to get.
No.
Oh wait, no, they might renegotiate in 3 or 4 years, I suppose.
Maybe. But by then, if this is like a 6-year minimum contract, by then I don't think his contract would be anywhere near as big as this one.
Well, no, it depends what kind of position and player he is. Like I said, leave Mount, for example. What you need to do is build the team and don't put Mount in that team as a star boy.
Yes.
And let him be let him be what he is. And you will be surprised how good the kid can be. Because he showed in a team of where he's not the star boy, he plays very well at Derby. He wasn't the star boy.
Yeah.
But he was. But did you see how he played? It's the same thing with what's his name? What's
Gallagher?
When Gallagher was
Crystal Palace.
At Crystal Palace, he wasn't the start boy, but those players can shine because they have the other star boys in the team. That's what I tried to see. Like, I want somebody to be a superstar at Chelsea, and usually the guys that play forward position, it's rarely midfielders. Rarely compared to the what's the name? I mean, of course, you can have a full team of it, but for example. If you have somebody else, I just don't want Mount to be the main person at Chelsea. I just want him to be somebody else.
I see what you're going with too, because I think that's a big reason. And you know what? I'm glad he commented because I was watching that Miz video. Miz said very perfectly, would Mount be able to start in the previous iterations of Chelsea prior to Kante? with the Balaks in the team, with the Hazards in the team. I don't think he would be a starter. I think he'd be a very, very important player that comes in for rotation, a player that comes in off the bench, or a player that comes in when we have Essien who's out or a Lampard who's out with injury, something like that. I think that's where Mount would shine. But let me just read this question real quick. I feel as Chelsea fans, we need to ask ourselves the right questions. How can we get back to the top? Whether it is 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. Are the current players, including Mount, cut it?
I have a
does
problem.
Mount cut it if Chelsea was the old Chelsea superstars? Yeah.
Yes.
You think he does, Alex?
Of course he is. The problem is he wouldn't be brought up the way he brought up at Chelsea right now. There's not Chelsea player over 20 years old to make it in the team with Lampard, Ballack, Drogba in it. But he can come off the bench.
Yep.
The problem is, it's not, like I said, stop bringing up Mount. Bring up the problem why he's there in the first place. Why did 20 years old all of a sudden have to carry Chelsea Football Club on his shoulders?
Yeah.
Ask that question. Why 20 years old? Because he's 23 now. But if you're thinking about it, he's been most Chelsea conversation for the past 3 years.
Yeah. I think you're right. But the thing is, I keep saying this, this is not a detriment to Mason Mount. The fact that he's seen as one of our star players and something like that is a detriment to Chelsea.
It shows where Chelsea is at the time.
Because it shows how far we've fallen. That he is our star player, or when people think of Chelsea, they think of Mount. I don't want that. And the same goes to Reece James as well. The fact that we sit here on most streams and when Reece James is injured and go, man, we miss Reece James so much, is an absolute travesty that we miss a right wing back that much. That is insane.
Imagine if Chelsea's game would have fallen so drastically if Cole was out with injury, or if Ivanovic was out. Like, that'd be ridiculous.
Paulo Ferreira. Aspilicueta.
Yeah.
If Aspi was out.
Yeah, and that's never really happened at Chelsea. It's like we've always had enough quality where if a player like Ivanovic, or if we lost to Terry would go off sometimes from suspension or injury, now we can't play, and now our whole team falls apart. It's absurd. Your hair looks fantastic.
I know. I'm getting it cut tomorrow, guys.
I gotta get a haircut too. I'm with you on that.
I can't do anything about it, guys. It's done. I don't style it. I'm a lazy bastard, as you can see. I don't style it. But you're right. I hate harping back to the old days, but when you don't even have to harken to the old days. You could even harken to now with Liverpool having backups for most players, or even City. But say when Robin or Duff were out, Joe Cole came in. That's what I mean. We weren't missing players. Do you know what I mean? When Didier Drogba went off to the African Cup of Nations, you know what happened? Nicolas Anelka stepped up. Do you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. It's little things here and there that shows how poor the squad as a whole has been built over the past 5 years. That we get so panicked that we are terrified when Reece James gets injured or gets a knock or something, that we have to go, man, we miss Reece James that much. He's great, but he's a right back. Yeah? He's not a striker. Do you know what I mean? We should be able to get by without Reece James. We should. We should. And the fact that Mount is seen as taking on this mantle of like carrying the club and everything like that, that's a disgrace to Chelsea. Not because Mount is a bad player, but because it's kind of
disgrace on fans.
Yeah, it's a disgrace on the fans for thinking that. It's also a disgrace on the players in the current squad for allowing that to happen. So you've let this kid come when he started. But let this young young guy come in and have to take on this burden and take the limelight off you because you're not performing well enough. That's a disgrace.
That's exactly what Alex is pointing on, and you know what? it's absolutely. It's disgraceful for one on the fans to expect so much of this kid, right? And it's also disgraceful on the other players. And you know what? It's changing Alex, you're changing my perspective on the spot here about like players like Jorginho and like Kante and all that. and our attackers that we've had that they haven't been able to step up. Ziyech especially, haven't been able to step up to the task. And now because their levels of expectations are lower, Timo Werner also in that conversation, Lukaku as well. Now we have to put it on Mount because he's the only one that's having some decent amount of output in the team.
See,
and everyone
like
else is...
there is a two fans that like when I say Chelsea fans to blame, is two kinds of fans. There's a fan like Carlito, and I don't think Carlito hate for Mount will be so big if it wasn't for another fan.
Yeah.
Which is Johnny.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So one fan brings from one extreme to another extreme.
Two ends. Bookmarks.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, there's as a fan specifically with Johnny, he doesn't realize that sometimes he creates fans that becomes like Carlito against Mount. Because when you put Mount on such a high pedestal, there will be a fan who doesn't like that. And he will be using the same thing that you use to bring him up. He'll use the same thing to put him down.
Right.
And there's not it's not going to be a middle to it. You see what I'm saying? And when we if you and there's like, and I like, look, I do the same thing like Carlito does. When I'm talking to Johnny, I will use every valuable thing that I can to piss him off. You see what I'm saying? Just because it's Johnny and a Mount. Like, he brings it on himself. I don't think as many Chelsea have problem with Mount as much. It depends on who those fans are talking to. And if it's people like Johnny, they will use slightly more daggers at Mount just to show that, he's not that thing. But at the same time, they the ones that actually compare him to Legend of Lampard.
Oh, Johan Cruyff.
Exactly.
It's like, you know what? You're right, because I don't think necessarily the hate that I say hate, the over criticism that these players get. I don't think it's because of the players themselves. I think it's because of the player stands and hives who don't accept any criticism whatsoever. So what happens is, because the others get frustrated and don't realize it, that they over criticize
the player,
right? Which is, when someone says a guy's a shit player, I half tune out, because I go, that's nothing, because I could say that about any other player. Tell me why you don't like him. Do you know what I mean?
I think
I may disagree with everything you say, but I will listen to you more if you tell me why. If you just say, and also if someone says your opinion's shit, well, I'll tune out. Then. Why do I need to, But I think it's fine. You're right. It's vice versa. I believe they go to that extreme because they have to. They feel they have to go to that extreme because of the player stands will not accept any criticism whatsoever. Exactly. And we've seen it. It's not just Johnny. It's the Kai stands. The stands who don't accept any criticism whatsoever. It's every player. It's every player. It's just wrong.
That's what Jennifer's stand brings me out of Jennifer.
Right, so so then you would admit.
I will not do that much hate on him. By the way, when I say global warming, he's the reason.
That was a joke.
Yeah, that was a joke that he's the reason. But at the same time,
he's the reason for cost of living going up.
Exactly. He doesn't produce enough gas. That's why he's shortage in Europe, man. He needs that body needs to eat more cows that farts, that does less. Look, my like, I don't hate Mount as much as I hate Mount stance.
Yes,
that's the point.
I feel the same way with Rice.
I think Rice is a really good player, but
he's a good player.
I start to talk to the player that look, why like that whole thing generational. The word generational, it pisses me off.
Yeah,
The word itself.
it's become a trigger word.
It's not used in the correct context, is it?
I just think it's overused now.
Exactly.
Where we're like every player is now generational.
I actually have a problem with word because you cannot use a generational. What's the generation? Please tell me how many years is generation?
Exactly. And when do you use it? When do you use it? Do you use
That's
it?
why I'm using it at the end of the only
End of
way
the
I said
career.
it. It's at the end of a player's career.
Yeah.
Then I can determine was he generational or not.
Listen,
Yeah,
Messi and
and
Ronaldo.
I think that's fair.
Messi and Ronaldo are ending near the end of their careers. I'm going to say it right now. They're generational.
Yes,
generational
exactly.
They're that's what
We
we're
haven't talked about those two. There's not a year in football for the
You don't talk about them,
those two were not being talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
They're still being
That's
talked
how
about
it should.
now. They're still being talked about now. And
Exactly.
I mean-
they're into their last bits of their career.
Hey, Andrew, you did a perfect thing there because speaking
segue.
talking about them, let's segue on to this one. Chelsea flip-flop on Cristiano Ronaldo. And what I mean by flip-flop is that one day we hear that Graham Potter doesn't want anything to do with Ronaldo. And then the next thing you hear is the following from Simon Phillips. Chelsea have reportedly made a U-turn on Cristiano Ronaldo and are now ready to step in if Manchester United follow through with their plans to sack him. Now, Alex, I know you wanted Cristiano Ronaldo. You still want Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Even though we have Aubameyang.
And generational mount, even though we have generational mount.
And
that's what I'm talking about.
Let's
talk shit about Cristiano Ronaldo. That will bring less talk about shit about Mount. Is it?
No, I'll tell you right now. Why it wouldn't. Because if Ronaldo would have started a game where he had Mount and Gallagher behind him, like Broha did against Newcastle, there's no way Ronaldo gets any of the blame, right? It would still be about Mount and Gallagher going, what's he supposed to do? How is he supposed to get on any surface? It'll be that. It will still be, whoever comes in, it will still be, and maybe rightfully so, it will still be about the other players around them because they're there first. They're there first.
I mean, it shouldn't be criticizing individual performance in the team sport. That's why I always had a problem with Ballon d'Or, with all this shit, because it's individual in the team sport. So when we criticize, and I always my thing is I criticize by section: defense, midfield, forward.
Yeah,
that's how I look at the game. And I can tell you which part of the midfield is struggling, which part of the forward is struggling. So for me, hey, like I said on a Lewis stream, I think Todd Boehly likes to be like I said, like Paris Hilton. He doesn't think that there is a bad publicity, man.
I can see that.
The more shit Hazard have, this is Hollywood crap, man. There's
it's America now.
It's there's no such a thing as a bad publicity. We gonna be talked about Chelsea if Ronaldo comes in, and only Todd Boehly is gonna see. Boehly is gonna see is like chin 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 chin
dollar
chin
signs,
chin.
Yeah. Which is really
maybe
weird
he brings back Romelu too to be together with Ronaldo. Why not? Let's double that out.
Can you imagine Ronaldo, Aubameyang, and Statue of Liberty, Lukaku in front three?
Oh my God! All or nothing next season.
Yeah, it'd just be
a bestseller, Amazon bestseller. Did you say 3-0?
That's what I'm saying. This is what Todd Boehly is gonna live for. Can you imagine that prime thing? All or nothing. Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Aubameyang at the team.
Oh my days!
And I just
and Harry Potter is the manager.
So a couple of things. It was like, a couple of things. It makes it really weird. The strategy looks really weird when you bring in all these like scouts and transfer. from Brighton and to set up. So you go for it, and then the first player you go and sign is a nearly 38-year-old striker. Second of all, they can't do any proper marketing because they can't change the squad number till the start of next season. So he can't be CR7.
Yeah,
he's at the risk because Kante's still there. So I don't know, what would you do? Like,
unless Kante lives in the summer, in the January.
That's true. That even only that's what I mean.
True.
So wait a minute. So,
maybe that's what pushes him out.
Wait a minute. Wait. So is there a possibility that you wait, you get Ronaldo, but you have to wait till you sell Kante in January? You can't
Ronaldo wasn't always playing as a number 7, by the way.
I know, but that's his brand.
I think he was 17. Who is 17 in the squad right now?
What I'm saying is, do you wait to register Ronaldo and his number until you sell Kante? Because again, Kante's 7 goes. So you might be stuck there and Ronaldo not doing anything for 4 weeks while you're trying to get Kante out the door before you can register him.
Maybe
Kante's a nice gentleman and Ronaldo buys him a better Mini Cooper.
Right.
And he
buys him a better Mini Cooper.
What we do is we go, thank you, Kante. We'll buy out his contract in January. Send him on his way, and just give his 7th shirt to Ronaldo. This is ridiculous. I mean,
the same size.
I still don't think Ronaldo's coming.
I don't either.
I don't think so.
It's just a bullshit.
I think it's lazy. I think it's lazy journalism, which is fine.
Yeah, it seems like
it's what you should do. But I just think it sends a really weird message that you build up this off the field group who's supposed to.
I can't wait for Scott. I will put him in his spliff.
No, but it just sends a weird.
What
message.
about the process now? If he comes, right? I will go after Scott like freaking train, man.
I can't say there's a process if he comes at all. There's no way.
If he signs Ronaldo, this whole off the field thing makes no sense. What they're doing, it makes no sense. You might as well just have done everything yourself. Yeah, it makes no sense. It sends a really bad. I think it sends a really bad sign as well to us as fans, and to the manager and to everyone else. Because listen, Ronaldo looks great. Yeah, he looks great. But he's not playing like that anymore. He just can't do it. You know what he looks like, and it's going to be irony because I'm going to say, you know when you see those McDonald's adverts of the burgers, they look really good. Right, in the adverts, they look like the best they've ever served, right?
I know where you're going to go with this.
And then you get just the normal looking ones you get. Do you know what I mean? Like,
from the guy that missing like 3-4 front teeth.
The guy just goes like that, yeah. Just goes like that. That's what Ronaldo is at the moment. He looks like the advert, but he plays like what you get served in a normal restaurant at this moment in time.
I was going to ask you guys, there's a good question that came up here in the chat. Do you guys still think he's a good finisher, though?
I think he's a good finisher. I still think he's a good finisher when he gets the chance.
He got a lot of kids.
Oh, man.
Yes. In that sense, he's a good finisher as well, yeah.
Yep. I think if he gets into the position, he's a great scorer.
Yeah.
How do we get him into that position if we're deciding we can't get normal?
We get Jorginho. Apparently good with passing
forward. Leave it alone. But I agree with Alex. I don't think he's actually still. I don't think he's still going to come. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
God's sake.
It just like to me, it seems like you said, Andrew. You mentioned like, what was the point of getting all this scouting and all the directors and all this if you're just gonna do it at the end, right? And in that sense, it doesn't make sense. And I also, I don't know how stupid the journalists in the UK think Americans are. That they're willing to push this narrative that Boehly would be stupid enough to still go for Ronaldo despite the stats.
I think we're right
everything
about
that's
that,
going
though.
on.
I think we're right
you
about that.
You think so? You think Boehly would do it despite Tuchel not wanting it and Potter apparently not wanting him?
Who got him back to United? What owners?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But
how about this? How about one of our satellite clubs?
I don't know who's owning United, who's owner of United. So
it's a good point.
How about this? We buy a satellite club in America, call it Chelsea Cowboys, and send him there.
Chelsea
He can go play there in
Cowboys.
America. He can go play there.
Brooklyn Chelsea, I'm telling you, when he wants to come to the MLS.
Brooklyn Blues. Yeah, the Brooklyn Blues. Yeah, do that. Or the Chelsea Dodgers. Or
Why
something
Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Like yeah, Brooklyn.
Why not
I
go
don't know.
California? He's already have a
Yeah.
California.
That's
How many
Oh,
teams-
you're right. Yeah, he could go to.
How many MLS teams are in California?
There's two
Jesus
LA
Christ, they have
teams,
like
right?
5.
And San Jose as well. I think there's a San Jose. And
San Jose, 2 LA teams. There's probably another one up there too.
That's it,
I don't.
isn't it?
Seattle is another team. Seattle
Is
Seattle.
not California.
No, I'm thinking Sacramento. Sorry. Whoops.
Of
Is there a
course.
Sacramento team? I don't even know.
One
I get
sun,
them
one
confused.
rain.
Portland Timbers. Thank you,
Portland.
Fetter. I don't know why Fetter. How
Portland
do you
Timbers.
know?
Yeah, but it's
Portland's
it's
Oregon.
Still, it's Oregon,
Is it-
man. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
We're
put my
bottling this.
couple of Brian Sandals. It's still not
Now I gotta
California,
look
man.
this up.
Oh,
Now I gotta look
geography's
this
not-
up.
Let's say right now, geography is not Fatter's strong point. Okay, I just looked that
I
up.
know this-
geography is not. I think
It's
my.
not- it's
I don't think geography is
He's
American
a fake,
standpoint here.
fake Indonesian.
Okay, I got it here. All right, Los Angeles Galaxy, San Jose, and Chivas USA. Apparently, they play.
There's
out of
another
Los
LA
Angeles.
team as well. There's another LA team.
Yeah, late.
Maybe.
LAFC, yeah. I think it's LAFC.
Yeah, LA. Oh, wait.
Los
Okay,
Angeles,
doesn't matter.
not the Galaxy.
Yeah, not the Galaxy.
Yeah, there's Galaxy and then there's LAFC.
Yeah.
I think I would do that. I'd buy an American team and just send him out there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, he's going to, because City has something in New York.
New York, yeah, New York FC, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Brooklyn rivalry. Bring it here so that I could at least watch something of Chelsea.
Hey,
I don't have to go all the way
CR7,
across
how
the
you
pond.
doing? How you doing, CR7? How you doing?
Talking like that in Brooklyn.
Hey,
I haven't heard a
CR7.
Brooklyn person talk like that in a minute.
CR7, CR7, Sue.
Are you just saying the MLS teams there, Fatur?
Yeah, he is.
I think he is. He's just listing MLS teams now.
He's what he's done is he's Wikipedia it. What he's done, he's on Wikipedia right now.
He's like,
Well, he's on
I got Google.
MLS.com and he's listing the cities right now.
Yeah.
Atlanta, yeah, well done. Atlanta.
How many? Never mind.
So it's
I was
3.
gonna- I was
I'm
gonna say-
looking it up. I think it's 3. It's not Chivas. Chivas. I don't think Chivas.
Yeah.
Maybe they play out of San
Chivas is
Diego. I don't know.
Mexican,
'Cause
isn't it?
Mexico's there, but like Mexico and California, they have like this weird.
Yeah, but I think Chivas is in the Mexican.
it's MLS.
Yeah.
But they're an MLS team, so it's Chivas USA. I think they would probably be located in California. I don't know. I'd have to do research, and I don't want to do that right now. I want to move on to the next topic, though, however, which is let's talk about the Nkunku injury. Why not? Okay, so if you guys didn't already know, Nkunku is not going to be playing the World Cup because he got a boo-boo. And that boo-boo is shared in detail here. Let me just get this out of here. By Ben Jacobs. We all love Ben Jacobs. It's Ben Jacobs breakdown. Here we go. So Leipzig confirmed Christopher Nkunku tore the LCL in his left knee whilst on international duty with France. He is expected to be out for 8 to 10 weeks. Nkunku has a pre-agreement with Chelsea for summer 2023. This does not stop other clubs making offers too. CFC hoping to finalize the deal as soon as possible, but a January transfer even before the injury was always challenging because Nkunku and Leipzig's preference is not a mid-season move. Further discussion has been pushed until after the World Cup prior to Nkunku's injury. And you guys showed up at the same exact time. That's incredible. Anyways, yeah. This stinks for Chelsea. I didn't expect Nkunku to come into the club and be an immediate fix to anything, really, because I feel like our bigger issue
I didn't
lies
expect
in
him
the
in
midfield.
January in the first place. So
Yeah, I think we were able to get him in January, but
Nah.
he wouldn't be able to play for us, right? He would go back to Leipzig on loan or something like that. Or I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
January for summer.
I didn't think he was gonna play in the January.
Yeah, I thought they would
I mean-
announce it in January for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because even if he was able to play in January, I don't think he would have improved the team very much. Like maybe he would have had more finishers, but I still think the bigger issue, and we've discussed this here,
That's why
I think the
Ronaldo
bigger
is
issue
still in
lands
the
in-
conversation.
that's the bigger
Seriously,
issues
that's why Ronaldo
lies
still
in the
a thing.
midfield.
That's why Ronaldo's
Yeah.
still a thing for 6 months loan. That's what I understood.
6-month loan for Ronaldo. I don't think
No.
Ronaldo would do that much better than Oba would be doing right now. I think he'd be starved for goals.
I do like that Ronaldo attitude better than Aouba, though.
You think
Hey,
Oba
Marshall.
should relax with the players?
He's a selfish prick. Ronaldo is a selfish prick. He's such an egoistic person, so he will demand. He will throw people like Mount under the bus in a minute.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Even though that probably could backfire.
You see what
But I
I'm
would
saying?
hope- yeah, I know what you're saying. I would hope that someone like Ronaldo would come into the club and really, really like grind at these players to get something out of them, make them take accountability
Exactly.
for how shit they're playing.
What are you picturing? Like Ronaldo come in and like giving Mount a wedgie or something?
Yeah,
I don't
something like
picture
that, a little
him to
finger
do
wag or
anything to
something.
the Mount. I don't have that much time in my life to picture Mount in my brain.
As one
I'm
person
not
does.
Johnny. I'm not Johnny.
Hey, Marshall. Anybody give you shit today?
I had one stupid comment. It's the same stupid comment that made that stupid little picture that he put on Twitter.
Let's have it right.
That's
But
right.
he never had the balls to message me. There we go. You know what I mean?
Of course he didn't.
Yeah.
And what's
only
funny
thing
too is that it didn't come directly at me because I think the channel in general, because we had stats, we had proof. He couldn't back it. But anyways, what were you saying, Alex?
The only thing that makes me shit is fiber.
There you go.
Okay.
This is Alex before the anesthesia and before the drugs of his shoulder surgery. Okay, this is Alex before this.
No, be ready for a different kind of Alex.
Because I've seen him after his ear surgery. He was a bit, out of it a bit, but due to that. But this is before anything's happened to him right now. Yeah, you think what he's going to be like afterwards? I would clip everything that he says after that, because he might not remember all of it. That's all. I'm just going to ask him to do that thing. And by the way, let me apologize. Alex doesn't mean anything that he says or after the streams, after his shoulder surgery. He doesn't mean anything. Okay. Whether it's good or bad,
It's like the wisdom tooth videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alex, you're playing a dangerous game, buddy.
sign the form already.
Oh man, that is the internet is forever, my friend.
It's the happy gas. It's the happy gas.
Oh my days! But what are we saying about Ronaldo, Carlito? Prime, your internet's moving mad, brother.
Again.
No.
You sound like Cher. Do you believe?
In love after love.
I was sent as a liaison from Johnny Minerals with discussing my idol. As long as you don't bring up skill stats or talent, we will.
Oh my god, his minions are worse than Tuanon, man.
He's a great person.
My
He's a great
goodness.
person.
Johnny's awesome. Welcome
speaking
to the
of-
stream,
Here we
Scott.
Speaking about progress,
What have I missed?
They're talking about Ronaldo
no,
to
we were
the
talking
bridge,
about
mate.
Ronaldo coming to Chelsea, and I'm gonna go after you
Oh, fair.
if he comes to Chelsea.
It would harm the
no,
progress of Broja.
You the one that gonna explain for all the fans to me that wanted how you say it, like
Suffering.
yeah.
Oh my
But we
days.
move.
But I was gonna ask you guys, does this really affect the transfer deal for Nkunku for us? Really?
No.
Like
No.
8 to 10 weeks is a while, and it's an LCL injury. It's not. It's like it's lesser than an MCL, right? If I know knee
I don't think
terminology.
I don't
Yeah.
think actually I don't understand what LCL. I know what LCL is, and it's still significant injury.
Yeah.
Is
The
it?
problem is, why is it 8 to 10 weeks? That's none. That any kind of injury. You know how many like a hamstring, 4 to 6
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
So
And that's without surgery. That's without surgery. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah.
how
So he's saying he's not having
insignificant
surgery
that
then?
knee injury?
Are we saying he's not having surgery then? Is that what you're
I
saying?
don't think he has a
no
surgery. I
idea.
think maybe he didn't rupture them. Maybe he just pulled on him.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't know.
don't
I think
know.
the only thing that changes is the fact he's now definitely coming in the summer as opposed to maybe coming in January. I think that's the only thing that changes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was momentum building as we were playing worse and worse.
Yeah.
Over the last
for him
couple of weeks, for him to, for us
come
to
in January.
change course and get him in January. This fucks those plans for sure. And the thing is that the LCL. I mean, if he goes under the knife, now I don't know if he has or not. If he goes under the knife, man, anytime you open your body up, it's serious. But at least it's not like an ACL. If this was an ACL, he wouldn't be back to form. Oh, he wouldn't be back to form for 2 years. I mean, it's really a 2-year injury. And so this LCL thing, I mean, I just keep looking back to the injury itself and the tackle and how unnecessary it was, and it really just pisses me off. But alas, such is life, man. But yeah, it's still a serious injury, man. 10 weeks. So Joe,
are there videos of the injury?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the training session. Oh,
yeah, he gets cracked by Camavinga.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily. Yeah.
It's
really ridiculous.
In, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're not even gonna win the ball, man. And it just looked malicious.
But why do you have to go and win the ball? You don't have to go in that hard. It's a training session.
Session.
It's like, I know, keep your fitness up. You don't need to stop everyone else's fitness by clocking them in the tackle. Big up Lewis in the chat as well.
That CPR7,
He's a streaming demon, that Lewis.
I found something I want you guys to react to.
I don't think it affects the long-term plans for Nkunku, depending on his rehab from the knee injury. I still think the deal may still be announced in January.
Oh yeah, no, it probably will be. Like, I don't think anything changed about the deal itself in terms of when it's announced. It's just I think as Carlito said, I think with everything that's going on, I think the likelihood was we were going to sign him in January, as in like he was going to come to the team. Whereas now I think it's like there's like a 99% certainty that he will be signed in January with a view to he actually joins the team in the summer.
Hey, you see the head of the physio, Andrew? He just resigned.
I see what it is.
Has he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, as it for what? For who? For Chelsea or for
the head physiotherapist at Chelsea, Thierry Laurent, has left the club after 17 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Todd Boehly probably looked at the injury list and says, "What the fuck is going on here?"
There has to be something said about that. The injuries do get
worse.
worse.
17 years? For 17 years?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's not Chelsea. Even just that. As I mentioned on another stream, it's like the whole nonsense with Chilwell, like that injury that he had, like the game he got the injury, like the whole nonsense of him training with the band on. It's like that either comes from negligence from the manager, which I choose not to see because it's just common sense. Like
I doubt it.
It's because your agenda. You choose not to see it on the manager. You choose.
No,
that's how agendas are born.
Like it could be the manager. In all seriousness, it could be the manager. But if it is, then that's just like that's common sense of like you've been told.
So the manager. Let me ask you, Scott. You don't see player in the practice with the bandage on and ask like.
No, the reason I say that is because
there's photos.
If he's been told, right, you can't play. This guy can't play any more than 60 minutes, and you intentionally play him longer. You're a fucking idiot, and you don't deserve to be a manager.
Yeah,
that's just common sense, and like I'd expect that from like Sunday League level. So if a Premier League manager at a big club is doing that, like he's a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm. I know. Remember Gary Cahill?
Look from a view of like common sense, like in terms of he's got to have some level of common sense, which leads me to see that the medical staff probably told him he can play 90 minutes, and they were wrong. Which means if they were wrong, that's negligence on their part. So I think that I'm not actually mad about these changes in my whole point of this. I'm not actually mad about these changes in the medical staff because there was something not quite right. And I think this is a step in the right direction. If we're still seeing problems after this, then it might not be the medical staff that's the issue.
I actually think Chelsea's medical staff before was always been brilliant.
With Eva Carneiro?
Yeah, she was amazing.
I mean, she was the doctor on the thing. There's another doctors in the football clubs, and the rehabs and all that kind of stuff. Because we always had good medical thing. If you want to say that they didn't, like Hazard, for how long he's been, he didn't have the thing. Remember even what's his name, Gary Cahill, when he was played with. There's the things that Chelsea medical staff did. Remember Lampard pulled the knee ligament, and he used it. That's the same. We're talking about the same Chelsea's medical stuff.
It could be just simply basic.
It could, exactly.
They're just a clean slate of everything.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It could just be that.
It's his prerogative, man. He can. And the irony is that Ben Chilwell looked so fast in that game, and that was his best game in a long time. And then he just and he was looking really quick. He looked like his pace was back. Eunice used to say that he looks heavy, running heavy, not fat, but like running heavy, like his feet are heavy.
Yeah,
and it didn't seem that way at all. He looked like he was back, which is great.
What other thing can be, Carlito?
Huh?
There's a new. Do you know what other thing can be?
What's up?
There's a new generation of doctors now.
Yeah,
that's high tech. There's a high tech medicine.
Yeah,
and look, what it is could be that it just doesn't level up with the club's position, because orthopedics is one of the specifically sport orthopedic.
Yeah,
it's really, really progressive, high money involved in it. That's why they flew Reece James to New York.
For fun.
That's for fun. That's why they fly all over, because there's a specialist in every place. And what you do, you need to get yourself onto the data. It's like a family doctors. It's like a family doctors. Hold on, Scott. It's like a family doctors. If you have an old one, you know you're gonna struggle. Talk to him like about specific things. You know, like he puts the thermometer old-fashioned ways, and like,
Hey, Marshall, you ever seen the movie A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No,
negative.
And he's talking about, oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah. The doctors used to have like ear nails. They used to put like nails in the ears. Yeah. That really just made me laugh there, Alex. No, I mean, look, call a spade, guys. This is a numbers game. And the injury numbers that we've had in the last, in particular, 3 to 4 years has just been unacceptable. Just unacceptable. And something needs to change. Even if it's just Boehly saying, I want my own people in, I think it's a good thing, because, my God, I'm so sick of our team being injured FC, worse than everybody else. I mean, how can we compete against Man City if 5 starters are always out, if we're always guaranteed to have 5 fucking players missing? It drives me insane, man.
It's Jorginho's fault.
That is such a lazy argument. I knew you'd go there.
My think about this thing, if the high press and high physical demand of the game, it's always gonna be injuries.
Yeah,
we just don't have a squad depth.
And also they're getting older.
Exactly. That's what Liverpool.
Also the schedule too. Yeah.
They never get rested either.
Just look at the Liverpool. You play that rock and roll style. It will catch up with you.
Oh, yeah.
It will catch up with you eventually. So if you're not refreshing, you and that kind of manager likes the small teams, because he trusts them.
Yeah, small squad.
And guess what?
Exactly.
Small squads, you get injuries.
Yes. But you know what the thing is as well?
Tuchel did.
It's amazing how all these things link. Is like, then what that goes into it, like what you said, Alex, about it's like the injuries and the squad needs to be refreshed. It's a fact of like people. It's then you've got like it goes into all facets where like you can then talk about the fan base and the fact of like they don't want to let go of these players that get injury prone all the time. But it's like you need to in some instances. Like you now need to just let go of these players and replace them, because like you said, they're injured all the time, so you can't see them play, and so it's like it's getting worse. It's like no, just replace them, refresh the squad, so that like. Yeah, you might downgrade a little bit in an area, but because this guy's playing all the time as opposed to this other guy who might be slightly better but doesn't play all the time, the other guy is going to improve to the level of the first guy, like because he just plays more often. Like that's the thing. It's like it's amazing how all these things link.
Yeah, I wrote an article for Pride of London for the 2 weeks that I worked there before they told me I couldn't write for them anymore. And I wrote that that Kante needs to be sold. And this was 3 years ago, and I still feel that way. I mean, I'm just fans should stop being so damn nostalgic for players. I mean, when we sold Hazard, we sold him at the exact
You
right
dodged a
moment.
huge bullet.
Yeah, because the guy never took care of himself. He was always out of shape, and that shit catches up to you when you're 28 years old, not when you're 22. But it's the same thing with Kante. It's the same thing with, I guess, Jorginho and a couple other players. Aspi got to go. I mean, yeah, these guys. No more nostalgia. When I saw Nazar Cancel in the summer tweet out, "Thank God we kept our captain, leader, legend, Aspi," I'm sitting here going, "What are you talking about? You're paying for past performances. This guy is not the 25-year-old version of this guy. He's 32. We need to stop being so nostalgic for these players. If it's time to go, it's time to go."
I need to get that on my
I
soundboard.
also don't understand as well. You mentioned Hazard. Like, I wasn't really around on Twitter at the time, like when he left. But it's like I don't remember there being this much was there as much of like with it is with Kante in terms of like wishing him to stay, or was it as an acceptance of everyone kind of accepting that he was going to go? Like,
he was telling us he was going to go. He said it for 3 years. Like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Like, accepting that, like just accepting and saying, yeah, fair enough, you can go. Like, that's fair enough, even though he was our best player.
I think it's safe to say that football social media has only really grown up since 2020.
Because
if
it was, I know, but like my point is, if it was that case where people accept it, I don't understand why people find it so hard to accept that Kante can be moved on. Because Kante's worse now than Hazard was. Like, I know it's different positions, but in terms of how they play in their own position, I think Kante's worse now than Hazard was when he left.
Oh, Hazard was an unbelievable season.
Yeah,
but that was it. That was the last time he ever played well.
Exactly. And Kante's coming off a season where the last half of it, he was, in my opinion, average to crap.
Oh yeah,
like
he made some major high-profile mistakes against Real Madrid, against and against Manchester United. Yeah.
It's not even just the mistakes; it was in the games as well. Like, just so many games where he just didn't perform. It's like I don't understand like why people have found it so difficult to like let go of like Kante, or like find it so difficult to let go of other players when seemingly they were able to let go.
I think I relate this to like the Man City thing when they brought Rodri in when Fernandinho was still there. We haven't done that. We haven't done that. We haven't bought.
We didn't do that. We didn't do that with Hazard. Like, we replaced him with Pulisic, but we knew Pulisic wasn't going to be on this level.
People thought Pulisic maybe would have been because they got they didn't watch Dortmund, they just read reports about him. So, but I think because we haven't actually brought anyone in to say, he's going to come in, he's going to do the Kante role or do whatever role for any of these guys. There's more fear from the Chelsea fan base because they're not seeing who's going to step up and take their place. We haven't bought the player that's going to come in and do a job in midfield. We haven't bought midfielders since 2019.
We're going to though.
My response with the Kante thing, to, like not necessarily to you, but to anyone who asked that question is, what is like to replace the Kante role, or to replace what Kante does? What does Kante do in this team? Like, what is his role in this team? It's to be the destroyer, or it's to be the when he's at his best. It's to be the destroyer. It's to be the guy that's all over the pitch.
No,
but it's like if that's what you're after, if that's what you're after, you can find that.
We have found it.
His job at Chelsea to show the youngsters how to be humble.
Oh my god!
From an on-pitch perspective, my kind of thing is always like, if that's what you're trying to replace for, like the ability to have 2 lungs or like 4 lungs, whatever it was, quote unquote, or like
Kante triplets. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I've always disliked that hyperbole.
All over the pitch or whatever. Like, you can find that quite easily in other players. Like, that's not a massive attribute to replace. So that's always
Mount is humble as Kante.
But I always get confused what people like want to replace about Kante, because like that's his best attribute to me. So I'm always confused as to like why people think we can't replace him.
We can.
I think this is it. I think the idea is we have to get as fans is not to look for a Kante type player. There's no one like him ever. There's no one. You can find players that can do jobs, right? That can do different jobs. We don't have to find
similar profiles.
The same job. Yeah. There's no one ever. That's why it's like
we need to go away from exactly the player Kante is.
Okay. I was about to say, I don't think Kante, with how we want to play, I don't think Kante fits.
I don't think Kante fits.
Dude,
I think
the answer
I
is
think he fits
Edson
best in a
Alvarez.
Mourinho or a Conte system. I think he is best in a counter-attacking system where he can literally be the guy that breaks up all the play and then can be the guy that gives it on to a like he does. He works as a destroyer, but not like a sit-in guy. But like I think the replacement for Kante isn't going to be like Kante because we want to move away from what he's like.
Well, the other problem
this
with
show has been going on so smoothly. These transitions are great because speaking on the transition, the replacement for Kante, boys, I got some news to bring up for you guys that just popped up while we were on stream. I did not know about this prior to making the show, but apparently this is true. There is no Chelsea without Rice rumors, and we have a Rice rumor. West Ham will finally be listening to offers from
the link is
Rice next summer.
next summer or this
West Ham
summer?
employee. No, ex-West Ham employee is reliable.
He's fairly reliable.
Yes.
He is fairly reliable.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a fairly reliable source. By the way, over almost 50 of you watching, make sure you are smashing that like button. It does help out the channel.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
You're
you guys
welcome.
for tuning in. Okay, well, Deckers is Deckers the type of profile that we want to replace Kyle with? Not Kyle, Kante with. Okay,
No.
Tell me why.
Because it's the same thing in terms of he works best in a system where you're going to be counter-attacking. Like most of the time, he looks best for because the thing is people want him to be the quote-unquote destroyer when he's not a destroyer in the sense of he's going to sit. Most of the times, he's looked best for West Ham.
Is that true? People are actually asking Rice to be like a Kante
that's
destroyer.
just in
Like
Scott's head. Nobody thinks that he's a destroyer.
Well, the thing is,
I haven't heard that.
I say destroyer in terms of what he's going to do. In terms of he's going to be the guy
I hear
that breaks
people
up
saying
the
about Gallagher that definitely not Rice.
Gallagher
The
just
thing
destroys
with Rice-
possession. That's what he does.
Okay. The thing for me with Rice is, like, I think he just works better when he's A, in a counter-attacking system, and B, like, he's not going to be the guy that sits. So if he's not going to be the guy that sits, you're going to need to get someone else who is, and then I think you're going to end up being too defensive in the midfield.
Yeah.
Personally, that's my thing. I think if you're gonna, I think you need someone a DM or a destroyer who's going to sit like a Sangare or an Alvarez or someone of that mold, and then the guy next to him, if you play a 2, is someone like a Caicedo or a Fernandez.
Let me ask you something.
Or someone like that. And I think Rice would be the guy next to the destroyer, and I don't think that works as well. Personally,
can Rice be a sitter time to time? Not all the time, but time to time.
I have not been convinced on what I've seen when he has been a sitter. I'm not convinced.
Okay,
right.
Well,
I don't think he wants to, man. He wants to dribble. He wants to carry the ball.
That's the thing. I don't think the 2 pivot midfield is actually have it a constant sitter.
No.
And
the
way he plays. Let me finish my point. The way we're planning on playing, the way I understand the way he's tried to play, it's the same as Tuchel. 2 players that two pivot midfield, but can dribble, can defend, and can pass. But both of them can actually sit time to time. It depends which ones goes where. So for me, if we go for Rice, it doesn't mean that we gonna look for another sitter. There's no such a thing as a sitter. The way I understand the way he wants to play. So for example, just to humor me, what if Frankie de Jong and Rice? Would you think those 2 pivot can be played?
I love Frankie de Jong. Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
You see, Frankie de Jong
I
can
would,
dribble.
I would say yes.
Hold on
I
a
would
second.
say
Frankie
yes.
de Jong can dribble. Frankie de Jong can go forward. Frankie de Jong can pass it. What's his name? Rice can dribble. Rice can pass it. Rice can carry the ball. My question is, you don't have to have a designated sitter, but you can have 2 progressive midfielders that can do sitting job.
That was my issue with that analogy that you made, because I feel like both of them would want to go up, and we'd be exposed constantly. You don't think so?
No, the thing is, they would alternate. They would alternate because De Jong did it at Ajax as well. Like there were times when he would be the one that sit and Schürrle would be the one that went up, and there would be other times. Like there are times when you see it for Holland and for Barca where De Jong will drop quite a lot to collect the ball from the centre backs. The thing for me with that is I feel as though with that midfield, And actually, I was about to say something, but I feel like it'd be the same even if we had like a Fernandez in the midfield. So I don't actually know if that's valid. I was going to say that you're reliant on a lot of the defensive work in that midfield pivot from Rice.
No.
But it would be the same if we have Fernandez in the midfield. So
That's what
like,
I'm
we had,
saying.
like,
Like,
Rice
you
and
don't have to
Kante.
be a center constant. You can the midfield. For some reason, people think the midfield is only one way or another way. There's a plenty of way to play it without sitting recycling, without global warming football.
Yeah. Look,
There's
I
a plenty
played
of
sitting midfield in college. Okay. And one of the things that I would like for us to
Never
do.
heard that.
Huh?
I've just never heard anyone call it global warming midfield. But go ahead.
Oh
Carlito,
my
sorry.
God. That was actually a pretty good one. No,
Yeah.
look. What does Man City play? They play a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder. The holding midfielder is Rodri. He's the best in the world. Okay. I want to play, and we are going to be going to 4 in the back. That is apparently what Potter's been working on as of this week. We want to transition to a back 4, and I would prefer us to just have an old school traditional defensive center midfielder that can also play the ball. That player is Edson Alvarez. It is the player you're looking for because, in the same vein as Rodri, he is a defensive midfielder. He's very physical. He's very aggressive.
You're talking about the Mexican guy?
Yeah, he's also
Yes.
elegant. He's elegant in possession. So he's got both styles, right? So you got the destroyer, and you got the guy that can also keep the tempo of our passing, which is what Jorginho is great at, but Jorginho is slow as shit. So we want the Jorginho type passing in a bigger guy who is also athletic and fast and will not get picked
I'm sorry,
on.
I'm sorry, I don't want the Jorginho type passer.
No, I'm talking about someone that can keep the tempo going. Just
Okay, but Jorginho is not a good. Jorginho is good on redirecting the ball. Like, for example, if the ball rolls from the wing to him, he one touch it. That's not pass. That's redirecting the ball. When he actually would the ball and try to pass it, I call them rainbow balls. You know why? Because they do like a rainbow. They go like this. There's no pace on that ball.
Okay,
The
no,
reason-
you're missing my point. My point is that he's just connecting the defense.
I see what
He's
you're
connecting
saying.
the center backs to everybody else. That is the job of the defensive midfielder. But the thing is that Alvarez is also an athlete. And the problem with Kante, I mean, you guys are talking about, I don't want to, how are we going to replace Kante? Kante's 5'5". You cannot have your defensive midfielder be 5'5", because one of the main things that you have to do as a defensive midfielder is win headers so the center backs don't have to. That is one of the jobs. Okay, because if the center back is trying to win a header and he's the last man, if he misses or if he mishits it, that is a through ball. It is the defensive midfielder's job to win headers on goal kicks and punts. He is cover, and I want somebody that is fucking 6'3", and he's 6'3".
I agree with you.
All
I agree with you
right.
on the defensive,
All
defensive
right.
midfielder.
I would say as
My
well.
problem is when you put the what's his name, when you said that we want this, like based like how
Tempo.
Jorginho is, which is like a spit in my face. There's nothing Jorginho is like.
No, I'm just talking about the passing. He's a
I
good
see what
passer.
you said.
Yeah, he's a good passer.
He's
The thing
he's
for
a-
me with Rice as well is
For-
there's two things.
Diego AM.
The number
this
one
is
is
not
like
a Qatar.
the number one like with Rice as well is I'm just not fully convinced. Maybe that's just me. I'm just not
Yeah.
fully convinced. Number
That's-
two
that-
is like and it's something Carlito was talking about. If you get Rice, for me, you have to play a double pivot. You can't play a full midfield.
Oh yeah.
I agree with you on that too, and I think
And that's the problem is you need someone. And the thing with like again, I know some people aren't convinced on him because of his recent performances. Someone like an Alvarez, you can play both. He has the ability to play both in a double pivot and as a single sitting DM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the only
allows-
about Declan Rice is that he gets horny, man. He wants to go forward, and he shirks his duties.
No, but the thing is, it's not just wanting to go forward because I would have no problem with that if him
Right.
sitting looks comfortable.
If he
But when I've
was
seen him
by
do-
himself, though, if he's by himself
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I want to dribble because I'm bored," dude, you
It's not-
leave
it's not
everybody
just that,
exposed.
Carlito, it's when I've seen him, like the few times I've seen him as the like lone DM, either when Souček has pressed forward for West Ham or the times in the Euros where Phillips did it, he looks so uncomfortable. Like there were times in transitions. Like I remember there was one against Germany. I know people say it's only one, but there was like the one I can remember like most of all was I don't know if it led to a goal or if it led to a chance, but we lost the ball in a transition and he had Goretzka running at him and Goretzka had him on toast. He looked so uncomfortable, like defending that transition. And it's like, that's the problem I have is him playing as the DM just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look right. Like both to like in terms of what he wants to do and in terms of the team, it just doesn't look right from what I've seen.
And I pray for this fan base if we actually do get Declan Rice, because it'll just essentially make Alex Goldberg the fucking director of football. And I can't have that. I can't have that Bostonian masshole director of football. Not here. Not up in here.
Yeah. The thing is, Ross can work for the team. Absolutely, he can absolutely work for the team.
Hey, I know, like, Alex. I was just kidding.
I know. But like, if you get him, it can work.
I was about to say something else. Go ahead.
It just necessitates a few things. As I said, it means you have to play a double pivot for me. Like, you have to pair him with a certain type of person to make it work. Like, there's certain things you have to do to make it work, I think. That just like, I just don't know if it's worth doing that over getting someone else that you have a bit more flexibility in what you can do with, personally.
All right, Marshall, I'll leave you with these parting words.
That's your, that's your 5 minutes, Carlito.
I got a tight 15 in. I got a tight 15 in. I'll leave you with these parting words. Great job yesterday. That was enormously entertaining and funny. And Miz should show you some props, man. I think he did show you props.
He did.
Nice.
He
shout out, boy, Mizzy. I love it.
Miz.
All right, man.
Miz. Big up to Carlito. All right, boys.
Yeah, I'm about to leave too, so
see you guys.
Okay.
I gotta go and have a dinner and stuff. So I'll see you guys. Let's see how the second
Wednesday,
game of the, how second day of the World Cup is gonna go through. I heard somebody important playing tomorrow. I don't know.
Oh, USA, right?
Nah,
Senegal, bro.
I'm gonna get, like I said, I'm not
getting up to fucking watch that game. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna go against what time is the first game?
For me, it's 5 a.m.
Are you West Coast?
East Coast.
I'm on East
Coast. The first game tomorrow is England.
Yeah, it's England
versus Iran, and it's at it's 8 a.m. Never mind.
8 a.m. I was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, it's 8 a.m. I'm probably not.
I'll see you guys later. Enjoy it.
All right, Alex. Have a good one.
See you
man.
guys.
But all right, the last topic I wanted to close out on, boys, was
wait. Let me ask a question. Wait.
Oh my God!
Prime, sorry, I just wanted to ask a question.
You're alive. Ask me, man. Come on.
I just wanted to ask a question. Slabhead, are you starting tomorrow? Oh, Alex is
already gone, bro. You missed your chance.
Oh, Prime, what's up, man? Your Wi-Fi's working now. What's going on, man? You were here, and I thought you were just having issues with the Wi-Fi, the Ethernet.
No, also I watched it today, and yeah, very well done. There is one thing I disagree on. Yeah, there is one thing I disagree on, but I don't want to bring it up.
Go for it. Okay, then don't bring it up. Maybe put it in private chat. We can moderate it before we go ahead and put anything on air that I don't want to be put on air. So yeah, send me a private chat. I
just don't know if you want. Okay, cool.
Yeah, send me a private chat. But and I'll bring it up after this topic. But Jordan Pickford, being scouted as a alternative to Renato Sanchez. I had the tweet up somewhere. Where did I put that thing? Oh, here it is. Okay. Bear with me, ladies and gents. I'm getting it up here, and we are here.
Renato Sanchez.
No. Robert Sanchez.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Renato. I was about to say that's
no. I would like a Renato Sanchez at Chelsea. That wouldn't be bad. But anyways, PYS tweeting out: Chelsea are set to scout Jordan Pickford at the World Cup as a Robert Sanchez alternative, as Brighton will demand a huge fee.
This makes no sense.
It seems very impulsive. If I had to say myself, it seems like an impulsive buy, and at the same time, I was kind of convinced into it this morning because I was talking to some people in the Discord. Which, by the way, everyone who would like to be part of the Casually FC community, come and join us in the Discord link down below. But I was talking about Jordan Pickford, and I remember Jordan Pickford being very error prone. So to me, it wouldn't have been that big of a difference between him and Kepa. Maybe he would have the slight advantage just because he's taller, has better reach and reflexes. Maybe you could argue. But if what I'm being told is correct, he's been better in recent seasons. He's been more solid in the back, less injury, less error prone than he used to be. So I'm not that opposed to it, but I don't think it would be cheap for either player. I don't think Pickford would be that much cheaper than a Sanchez. So in that sense, it kind of doesn't make sense. Scott, what do you think about this?
I don't think it makes sense at all. Like you said, like he's going to be just as expensive, if not worse, because like the English thing, and it's like him being England's number one. He's Everton's first choice keeper. Like all of that. Also, like there are so many better alternatives out there. Like that Diogo Costa from Porto is better. Like Sanchez, like is a good option. Like I'm not saying like Pickford's a bad option in terms of like he's not a bad player. Like he does really well for England, and like he has his good moments, and he's got like his ball playing ability is amazing, for example. But like there's just better options that are going to cost less out there. Like this doesn't seem just like a smart choice at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like this seems like a signing I'd expect from the previous regime, where it's just like easy. It's just like it's a signing that would take like no effort in terms of finding the player. Like this doesn't smack of like it being an astute signing or anything. It's just one of those signings that is like, yeah, you can go and get him, but he's going to be like 60 mil or 70 mil because that's what Everton will price him as, depending on his contract, because he's England's number one and he's their like starting keeper. So I don't understand it at all.
It definitely doesn't seem like it's a pick that, like a scouting pick per se, like a pick that Potter's team came in and they were like, "Oh, we're doing our scouting. We found this talent. This guy no one knows about, Jordan Pickford."
Like, if that's what's considered scouting, then I'm questioning the people we brought in, because that's not scouting. Like anyone can watch him in the Premier League on a damn near weekly basis. You can watch him. You actually scratch that. You can watch him on a daily basis when England are playing in the World Cup currently. Anyone. Literally anyone can.
I mean, because and also what if he has a decent to good World Cup? The price just goes up.
Yeah,
but it already is. Remember, they bought him for 30 million. Yeah, they bought him for 30
and that
million.
was from Sunderland after they got relegated.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't. For me, is I don't know where these stories are coming from. Whether it's just lazy journalism or they're giving a hint. I just don't think he is that type of person. Sorry, the type of person we're looking for in goal. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Also,
how tall is he?
Apparently,
he's the same height as Kepa. I just looked it up. Yeah, it's Kepa's height. 6'2", 6'1". Yeah.
I don't know. Some of these players were being linked to like Pickford, Leon Bailey. It's like
even Ronaldo to an extent. Like
Ronaldo,
it's like Leon Bailey's slightly out there because he's having a decent season, but he's not having that season.
I was just about to ask you guys that, because that's what I heard today too about getting rid of Pulisic for him.
He's not so much in the eye of like a Sam Maximin, for example, or a Almiron at the moment, or I'm trying to think of someone else where it's like, you know who he is. You don't really have to scout him properly. Like he requires a little bit, but Pickford's one of those. It's like, but like you don't need to scout him. You should what he's like. I know what he's like as a keeper. Like he works for the system we want to play. And again, like as I said, like he would be a good signing. Like he would be an improvement on what we've got. He'd be a good signing in goal. But it just all feels a bit too like simple. I don't know if that's the right word. Just like all a bit like this is just too easy. I'm the way that this scouting group that we are assembling has been built up. I'm expecting you to go and find someone or scout someone like a Diogo Costa, or go and scout someone from like the Belgian league, or go and scout someone from like the Argentinian league or something like that. I'm not expecting you to go and like talk to me about a guy in the Premier League who basically everyone knows about. Like, it's not like we're signing someone. It's not like, for example, we're signing. Say, let's take Everton as well. It's not like we're signing someone like Onana from Everton, who is like just coming to the Premier League. You might not know too much about. No, this is literally England's starting goalkeeper. Like,
Yeah, it just seems like what Andrew was alluding to is it seems like lazy journalism. Maybe it's true, and if it is true,
do you know what?
I think we can do better.
I tell you what it's like, and I don't know who's going to get it. If people have played Football Manager, they'll get this, right? So bear with me while I explain this. You know, when you start Football Manager, right? If you start a game of Football Manager, and there are certain players that you don't even have to get your scouts to look at. You just know, like, you just know what they're like. You know a level of their ability. It's like that. It's like I already know kind of what level he's at. I don't really have to scout him at all, or I just go and scout him a couple of times. It's like that's kind of what it is. It's like you already know a level of ability of what you're working with. Like, it's not like it's a guy that you know nothing about, and you have to send your scouts to watch him. And it's like you know nothing about what ability he's at currently. It's like because you happen to not you happen to from the same country he's from. If you like play Football Manager or whatnot, like you know a little bit already. Like it's just easy. It's just like it's that type of easy signing. Like it doesn't make sense. Like it fully doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it was like it was a bit like and you turned out to be good. It's a bit like when we went to go buy Gary Cahill. It's a bit like I'm not saying it would turn out, but you know, it's like something like a strange that comes out of nowhere, comes out of the site, and go, oh.
I actually think it might be like. I actually don't think it's even like that. I'm trying to think of because like at least Gary Cahill, because I think we're Bolton in the Championship at the time, weren't they?
No, they're in the Premier League.
We're in the Premier League. I could have sworn they were in the Championship. Shit.
Yeah. Premier League, They went down that. They did go down that season. That we bought.
By the way, we didn't say this on the channel, but big Congratulations to Gary Cahill, who announced his retirement about a week or so ago. So you know, big up to Gary Cahill.
Very underrated and very underappreciated.
Very underrated, underappreciated. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what it's like because I kind of agree with you. It's like just one of those easy signings that you make.
Maybe
like
I guess
Raul,
Coutinho was kind of
like
one of them.
Morales. Remember when we started? Just like why?
It's kind of like I tell you what. It's kind of like you know when you like United sign like Shaw, for example.
Yeah.
Like it's like you already knew what level he was at, or like when United bought Maguire, like you kind of knew what level he was at already. You didn't need to do scouting about it. Like I'm not saying he's going to end up as bad as they did, but I'm just saying it's like that level of you already know what he's at, and it's like
we didn't need to scout Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't need to.
I was thinking that's the thing, and it's like and as like I said, I'd expect this type of signing from our old regime, where the scouting was a bit shit. It wasn't the best, and we would go for these kind of like safe, simple signings. Like, I'd understand that, but that's not what I've been conditioned to expect with this new this new recruitment system, or not system, like team. Like with their previous at Brighton, and with like the likes of Joe Shields coming in, and like all of this, and like the Vivell guy, if he's involved with transfers in any way, like. I've been conditioned to think that like, we're going to start building, like we're going to start going for like slightly out there players, and then the first signing we could potentially be making with this new like recruitment team is Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, or we go full circle and we go. It's like I don't expect with all the off the field signings. I don't expect one of our first signings to be Cristiano Ronaldo.
But I don't think that's how it works. Like we're not a small club. Not every signing we make has to be some random ass kid from like Andorra or Somalia.
Not necessarily random, right? But it's like someone like, for example, I know I've mentioned him a couple of times, like a Diogo Costa, where it's like people know of him. It's similar to the Edison signing, where people know of him, like, and if you watch a lot of football, you will have seen enough of him. But to the large majority, he is a fairly unknown quantity. Whereas to the large majority, Pickford is a massively known quantity. That's my point. Is like you don't necessarily have to go and sign someone like you mentioned from the far reaches of like Andorra or something.
Just
like,
because someone's known doesn't mean they're not good. Like Liverpool signed what's his name? Diego Jota. Like he was known. It's not like he was a random signing.
Yeah, but there's for me
like I don't think there's anything per se wrong with it. In my personal opinion.
whole thing with this at the start as well was that for me, there are better options that will be cheaper out there than Pickford.
Oh no, I like Pickford. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think his ceiling though is like a
Bungalow.
top 3 goalkeeper in terms of challenging for. I think, sorry, his ceiling is him being in a team challenging for top 3 in the league. I don't think he's good enough to win titles with.
Yeah, I'd say that. I'd say.
And I also think that about who's the other guy, Sanchez. Who's the other guy we're linked with? Sanchez. I also don't think he's
Robert
good enough either.
Sanchez.
Like, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand why Chelsea fans will like kind of laugh at Pickford, but you guys will be gassed about Sanchez or Raya or Casiedo. These guys who aren't good enough either.
To give Sanchez the benefit of the doubt, he's only 25
Why?
years old.
But why didn't we
That's
give
why
that to Pickford?
Because Pickford is currently 28. He's older.
No, not now. At the time when Pickford was younger,
I think because at
and
the
he
time
wasn't
you
performing
could
at his
say
best for a couple
you
of
could
years.
say that at the time, and this is very surface level for me. I'm not like gonna go like I can't really go in depth with this because I don't really know that much about Pickford or Robert Sanchez for that matter. But if my eye test deceives me,
Yes.
if my eye test is reliable as it is, I recall seeing Pickford at the age of 25 making more stupid, silly errors and calls and being more shaky at the back than Robert Sanchez at that age. I think Robert Sanchez in the younger days struggled more just because the quality wasn't there.
Yeah, but you say that, but when Pickford was even younger, he was one of the best goalkeepers in the league when he was playing at Sunderland. So, like, I think we need to put it into context of the kind of team you're playing with, your system, and your defenders. It's like, especially as a goalkeeper,
I think that's fair.
this is one of the things I used to defend Kepa under Frank. As a goalkeeper, your defensive setup and the center backs you play with matters. It doesn't help when you're and also your form, your confidence. It doesn't help when your defense gets changed every single week, or there's no defensive structure, or like there's no chemistry or cohesion.
True.
I think David Raya, I don't think he's gonna reach the level of kind of what Pickford is doing. I don't even think Pickford's the guy that we should be signing anyways. I kind of agree with Scott. We should go for that guy at Porto, Costa. He looks very good. Or I would go for someone who's already proven. Go for Mike Magnon. Spend the money on him because he's actually worth it. And right now, he's actually a world-class or potential world-class goalkeeper. I think Mike Magnon is like a year or two away from being world-class, as opposed to...
I was going to say, he's comfortably France's backup goalkeeper.
Costa, you don't know. He could come to Chelsea, and within a year or two, Costa could come to Chelsea, and within a year or two, he could end up being something like Kepa, because he could go through something crazy. We don't know. I'd rather go for someone who a position, like someone proven, someone established, right? I'm not sure about.
I think Pickford
That's
heard
just
what you're saying and is hijacking your internet right now. But I think I get this gist of what you're saying. I was actually going to entertain the idea of would you guys be willing to have a Jose Sa at the team?
Yes, I'd take Jose Sa.
I think he's a pretty quality goalkeeper.
Evil universe David De Gea.
What the hell? Why does that work so perfectly?
Looks like an evil, like a variant of David De Gea, with just with an extra beard, something like that.
Like the Doctor Strange alternate universe guy. That's hilarious. Yeah, evil universe Jose's David De Gea. I would take to Chelsea. The other thing I was gonna ask too, which I don't know if you guys answered before, but there's also the Leon Bailey links as well. Personally, me, I would not touch Leon Bailey with a 10-foot pole. He is more injury prone than Pulisic. He would not be a replacement for Pulisic whatsoever. He'd be a demotion if anything.
He would have.
But yeah, I mean, but to be fair to Pulisic has been fit for the past
that's fair.
a year now.
Yeah, you're right.
So
the whole thing with like with Leon Bailey is like, again, this just smacks of like just signing someone for being in form. Like, again, this is such an old regime signing. Like,
Yeah.
Especially in the
the
current,
old regime was linked to him.
if we were looking at him like a year ago, then I'd maybe be like, I'd still probably question it, but I'd be like, or maybe they see something in him, like, and maybe they do see something in him. But it's massively coincidental that it's right around the time when he is basically Aston Villa's only informed player alongside Ings.
Yep.
Yeah. I believe in the player. I think it's a good player, but I just don't think that the injuries are convincing me. Like, no way. Like, he's barely been playing for Aston Villa as it is. I think that first season he played.
Yeah, his first
How
season
many
he
games
barely
did he
played.
play?
Yeah, he barely played
Like
last season.
8 games or something. Something ridiculously low. Like, it was a very ridiculous number that he played. But yeah, like, I don't know. I wouldn't really entertain Bailey to Chelsea.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't need
either.
another injury-prone player for
Honestly,
another one.
The idea is to Leon Bailey would be a signing if all our forwards were good. Do you know what I mean? Be like as a squad signing. If he'd be like someone to come in and just play a game here and there, he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not a signing I want to be looked at as an improvement on others, because I don't think he's that much of an improvement. This whole excuse of, yeah, but they're better than what we have. That's not good enough for me. Sorry.
No, not at all.
That's not that's a low bar. That's a low bar, very low bar to get over. Do you know what I mean?
I think the thing with Bailey for me is I think he would be a floor raiser for us. Like, he would be better than what we've got with a floor raiser. But the problem is like I want someone. Like, that's all well and good, but I want someone. If we're going to get Bailey, it has to also be with an Nkunku or with a Leao or with someone who is going to go into the first team and raise the ceiling. Like, Bailey is a good signing to make in terms of, like, you get him in and he can be an option you bring off the bench, but you can't be bringing that into this team when we need someone to be starting.
And you know what? I'm looking at the stats right now on Transfer Market. I was kind of shocked to see 18 matches played, only 754 minutes. But I'm seeing here too that I guess he was predominantly used 9 matches here as a right winger. So is he really a replacement for Pulisic? I don't think he's even meant to be a replacement for Pulisic. I know he can play left wing, but if he's playing right wing, then I mean, there is a gap to be filled in the right wing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Ziyech is probably gonna go in January. Sterling can play there, but we prefer not to play him there. Who are we going to put in the right wing?
Yeah, I think the thing with Bailey, right, is as a signing, I'm not massively against it depending on the fee, but it can't be the only attacking signing we make. If it's the only attacking signing we make, that's concerning because, as I said, he will be a good option to have as he'll raise the floor of the team, but he doesn't raise the ceiling. He doesn't raise the ceiling, and he probably doesn't start in our current team because I don't know, unfortunately, if he'd start over Mount. Like, I don't think he's he's not on the level of like an Nkunku or a Leao or a Kvaratskhelia or someone like that at the moment, where they would come in and you'd almost expect them to start because of the level they are at. I don't know if he's that good.
Does he have a
but you're basically buying. Say again?
I mean, I'll check on.
I have no idea
what
price
tag
that would be.
Because as a squad player, I wouldn't mind them. He can play.
Yeah,
both,
that's the thing. As a squad player, I wouldn't mind it, but as long as it's not the only attacking signing we make. Like, if you get him and Leao, I'm calm with that. Because then you can have him for the bench option, and he's better than what we have, so it raises the floor. You've got Leao who can start, and that raises.
And plus,
see if this changes anything for you guys. He's 25 million pounds as of the 3rd of November. Not pounds. I'm sorry, euros as of the 3rd of November on Transfer Market. That's his market value.
How much did they buy him for?
Euros. I shouldn't have looked this up.
Did they buy him for 30?
Plus, Graham Potter is meant to be this genius coach who can improve players, right? So improve
30 million pounds.
Also, why would Aston Villa look to sell him?
They've got replacements.
They need money.
They have got replacements.
Do they need money?
I don't know. Do they? I don't think they do.
I would say he's someone.
Everyone's.
I would say I wouldn't say he's key enough
Fair
for
enough.
them where they couldn't replace him. Like they've got Buendia who could play there, who's a suitable replacement. I think is as good.
Buendia hasn't been that good for him. I would think they look to sell him. As like Bailey's, at least from what I've seen, he's played well or okay for them, and I would think someone like Bailey would suit what's his name, Emery's system. Where Emery likes to play. Unless Emery wants to try and buy like a better winger,
Emery's
like
the
a Dan
coach.
Juma. Unless he wants to buy like a Dan Juma or something, then I don't think
Okay.
it's worth us buying Bailey when there's better players out there. Even as a
That's what
squad,
I mean.
player. I wouldn't mind
wanna
him.
buy
I like him, but as a squad
Mhm.
player, there are better out there.
I don't think we're trying to improve the first team, let alone the squad.
Yeah.
Unless he is okay, unless it is 25 mil, and he is okay knowing that he is a
Mhm.
squad player. Unless he's okay with that, then fine.
I think Leon Bailey's mythos has been built up to something it's not.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's always, before he joined Aston Villa, it was always, remember, we went into him before. So before he joined Villa. And I think he's one of those players that's always linked to big clubs, and it never happened. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he is that player what everyone thinks he is. It's like this Milinkovic-Savic. I think he's not real.
Oh no, I think he's as good as people. I think he's as good as people make him out to be. There's a problem with Savic that I don't understand. There's two things. Number one is people misprofile him horribly, and it really does my nut in. And the second thing is like people don't realize that he just has no interest in leaving Lazio. Like he probably does want to move to a bigger club, but it's not such an urge that he wants to push for a move. Most of the time, it's just his agent being a dickhead, trying to get a better deal for his client.
Scott, are you saying that Savage is not a DM?
No, he's not. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking. Oh, I had to listen to people telling me that, he can play as the 6. You play him as the 6 and you put something. No, fuck off. My man had his best season last season playing on the right of a fucking midfield 3 and people wanted to play DM. Are you tapped? It's the stupid people. That's on the level of Tuchel profiling Gallagher as a DM. Is on the level. Like it's to an even. It's like on a much bigger scale in terms of the player is better. Like stupid.
Well, it is what it is with the Chelsea fan base from time to time, man. Just like to put. I mean, we did it with Mount, so we just like to put these expectations on players all the time that they don't.
Marshall, speak for yourself.
Hey, listen, the fan base. Okay,
not my fan.
Hashtag
not my fan base. Hashtag not my fan base.
Well, hashtag not my fan base. That being said, I think we're gonna call it here, boys. I do want to end it on this wonderful tweet right here, though. Just want to say, Cement Mixer Hive, stand up, stand your ground. That's solid as cement. Let's get it.
I'll tell you backstage.
I wonder what the quote is. I wonder what the quote is.
Actually, can I just say something?
Yes.
Can I just say? Oh yeah, the quote. Yeah, agenda merchants. Yeah. What is that? Agenda merchants.
Yeah, I love it.
I just want to say actually, because I don't think we said it a lot. You know, big ups to apparently it's the channel's birthday yesterday from KH to Casually FC. I don't think we said it enough. Big ups to Kai, who started the original channel in the first place and got all us on. So we wouldn't be here without Kai. And he still comes on the channel. Everyone who knows Kai, if you know him, he doesn't hold back. He says what he says and he doesn't regret saying it. So, but he started this channel, and big ups to him because he got us really all involved in this.
Pretty much. And I do want to say that even though it's no longer KH No Filter Football, we still remain the no filter aspect of this Casually FC. Please.
Yep.
Yes. So, I mean, with certain restrictions, obviously, but that's just that we cross that bridge when we get there. But big up to the Cement Mixer Hive. Big up to all of you that showed up today in today's stream. We'll be back again Wednesday for another Casually Chelsea show. We'll talk about news and all that stuff that happened between midweek and now and midweek rather. And we'll probably talk about some performances from Chelsea players in the World Cup. It's going to be exciting to get some more games going. Hopefully they're more entertaining than Qatar, Ecuador, which I'm sure they will be.
No, that game today was entertaining. I can't lie. Like Ecuador, I tell you what, Ecuador. I know it was against Qatar, but Ecuador I think played a lot better than people expected them to play.
Hey, I've been
Okay,
look. I know it's Qatar. I know it's Qatar, Scott, but I'm with you on that one. I've been telling people, look, Ecuador,
I can't even
they're
lie.
good, man.
I was going to say,
They're good.
especially the fact that Senegal ain't got Mane. Hey, it's starting to be a lot closer about who finishes second now in that group.
It's getting a little bit of a juicy mix up.
Do you guys want to know if do you guys want to know a fun fact about Qatar?
Go for it.
It's a football fact, by the way. I'm not gonna take the
okay.
notebook.
Yes, go for it.
Fun fact about Qatar: 80% of the Qatari players were coached by Xavi at Al Said.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And when I said
It's all
Xavi's a
clicking.
bomb, people came for me. It is what it is, man.
It's all clicking. It's all clicking. But yeah, ladies and gents, smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss our future streams. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about today's show, about everything we talked about. Check out the links in the description. And we'll catch you again on Wednesday for more Casually Chelsea show. Peace out and stay casual.